So my story about like learning how to manufacture, man, it was hard because like every manufacturer is a little different. Like when if you're doing like a screen, screen printing, a type of like manufacturing, it's a lot easier because you're not actually like designing the actual like shirt. The shirt is kind of already complete for you. You're just kind of making a design, and then they're just like stamping or embroidering their design on like a t-shirt. But when it's something that comes to like a menswear or like women's wear, where whether it's like a suit or a tie, it can be more difficult because you have to know like the measurements of what you want things to be. So, and you have to know like what type of patterns, what like width, what like length, what like a type of fabric do you want. It's a lot of like different details that kind of go into that because you're making something from an actual like yard or like 2 yards of fabric. So you got to know like how many, like how much yards does it take to make one coat, right? So that could take, let's say it takes 2 yards or that takes 5 yards. So you got to know how to basically calculate that, and then once you calculate that, it boils down to the actual price. And a lot of times, what kind of happens, especially when you're new to the manufacturing industry, is you might have a idea for like a new product or something you've seen that was in a store, and you want to make something that was similar. So, but what happens is, basically sometimes when you put down certain measurements or certain dimensions, it doesn't come out the way that you want it to like come out. So it might come out like crooked. It might be short on this slide, or one sleeve is like longer than the other. And these are things that you still have to like pay for. So it's just a lot more. When I first started out, I was just doing t-shirts, so it was a lot easier. You just take the t-shirt, you smack a logo on it at a screen printer or whatever, and that was it. But when I got into doing like menswear, ties, suits, it was a whole different ball game, because then now you have to actually know what certain measurements are. And a lot of the times the measurements aren't what you see in the stores. Like, if you walk into like a store like a Macy's or any store around your area, you might go in and just ask for like a small, medium, or large. But when you're actually manufacturing, designing clothes, it just doesn't go by that. It's like, okay, so what is the width around the wrist? So what is the width around the elbow? It's all different, like, calculations for like different things. And also working with like a manufacturer, you have to sometimes like order a certain amount of a minimum of pieces. So, if you're like used to, let's say, printing up, like, let's say just five t-shirts, but now in like a manufacturer, like a big one, you might have to order 30,000 t-shirts opposed to just 5. So, it could be a lot to kind of deal with. But I think that it's all about learning and failing forward. And that's just how I feel like everybody does it. You just kind of learn as you go. So that's basically my, first experience in the manufacturing industry.